So in this part, we are going to look at loops in PHP. Loops are very useful because they let you repeat a block of code multiple times without writing it again and again. So in this part, we will cover the main types of loops in PHP, which include the while, do while, and the for loops. Okay, so this is what we are going to look at. We are going to look at the while loop, the do while loop, the for loop, how to break out of the loop, and lastly, how we can escape an iteration. Okay, so let us start with the while loop. Okay, so the while loop keeps running as long as a condition is true. Okay, so these ones, okay, so it keeps on running as long as the condition is true, and this is the structure of the while loop. Okay, so let us first create our variable that we are going to work with, and this one we are going to name it counter. Okay, so after that I'm going to show you the structure. So let us see the structure. So in VS Code, if I write a while and then I press enter, we get this while loop structure. Okay, so here we start with the keyword while, and then here we put inside we add the parentheses. Then inside the parentheses, these parentheses, inside here we add our condition. Okay, and if this condition is true, the code inside is going to keep on running. Okay, it is going to keep on running multiple times as long as this condition remains true. Okay, so let us here we have our counter. So we are going to base on the counter. So here, if the counter, so let us say that if the counter is less than or equals, let us give it 5. Okay, let us give it 5. Then we are going to run this code. So what are we going to run? We are just going to echo out some information. So echo out, then we are going to say that the number, then here, after doing that, the number, then here inside these strings we can have our variable. Okay, so our variable, and we can name it, bring it there. Okay, counter. Then after there we are going to use the break. Okay, so after this, after printing out this statement, we are going to break. Okay, so let us break. And to break in HTML or in a web browser, we use the break. Okay, we use the BR tag. Okay, to break from that line. Okay, to break from that line in a browser. Okay, so we use that one. Okay, so after doing that, then remember this code is going to run. Okay, as long as this condition remains true, and here it is the condition, this condition is true. Okay, so the counter is less than 5. Okay, and if we don't and if we continue like that and we save our file, then we go in the browser and we save. I think we are getting multiple numbers of iterations. As you can see, the code is running, okay, and it is going to freeze our machine. Okay, so what we need to do, let us first stop this process. Let us first stop this process. Then we copy this one. Okay, then we open a new tab. Then we close the previous tab because that one is getting infected. Okay, so then we open a new tab, but we forgot to change our code, so we need to repeat it again. So let us to avoid that one, what we need to do is we need to increment the counter. Okay, our counter variable. Okay, so this one is going to run the first time. If it runs the first time and then comes back and finds out that the condition is still true, it is going to run it back. So to prevent this one, we are going to increment our counter. Okay, we are going to increment, after running this code, we can increment our counter. Okay, so that the condition becomes false. Okay, so and if we try to do it like this. Remember, we talked about incrementing and decrementing. Okay, so if you saw it in our previous videos, okay, we talked about how to increment and decrement. So to increment a variable, we use the variable and then the name. Okay, so then for the name we use these ones. Okay, we use the plus plus. okay, to increment. Okay, so but if we don't want to do that, let us first do this. So we are going to get our previous counter. We are going to set the counter to be our previous counter, and then we are going to add there a 5, okay, in order to make this condition false. Okay, so if we do that and then we come back here, we paste our URL http://localhost/my-site/index.php, and then we run. Okay, so here we are getting, okay, we forgot to put these ones. So if we save again and we refresh, we get only 1. So we get this code runs only once. It runs once, because if it tries to run another time, before it runs the next time, the second time, it is going to first check if this condition is true. Okay, and remember here we set the count, okay, the counter to be 6. Okay, remember in the first condition, this counter was 1, and then here after running this code we set it to be 1 plus 6, so 1 plus 5, so it is 6 now. Okay, and then it tries to look to see if this condition is true. Okay, if 6 is less than or equals to 5, okay, and if it is false, then this code is not going to run. Okay, which means there is nothing that is going to run. Okay, nothing is going to run because this condition is false. So it's going to skip this code. Okay, it's going to skip this code and goes to the next code, okay, below, which and here in this case we don't have any piece of code below this while loop. Okay, so as you can see here. Okay, so let us try to see how we can print out all the values. Okay, how can we print out all the values, okay, between this 5, okay, this 5, okay, below this 5, okay, below or equals to this 5. Okay, so what we can do, we can just get this one and then we add a 1. Okay, we can just do that. Okay, so we get our previous counter, then we get and then we add a 1, and then we store it in this counter. Okay, that is it. So if we save and then we refresh, we get 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so it is going to run until this condition is true. Okay, like that. So if we change this one to be equals, which means this one 5 is not inclusive. Okay, so counter cannot be 5. Okay, so if we save, it means that here, as you can see, counter is not 5. So when we reach at 5, the loop breaks. Okay, breaks out. Okay, so that's all about the while loop. Okay, so you need to know that this this one prints 1 to 5, the first one. Okay, let us go back, that one. Okay, let us increment again. So you need to know that this one, okay, this one prints numbers 1 to 5. The condition is checked before each iteration. So if the condition is false from the start, the loop won't run at all. Okay, so that is it. So let us look at another one, which is called the do while loop. Okay, the do while loop. So let us take a look at the do while loop. So the do while loop is very similar, but with one big difference. It always runs at least once, even if the condition is false. Okay, it always runs at least once. Okay, even if the condition is false. So this condition, it first runs the code before checking the condition. Okay, so it means it will run once. At least it will run at least once, even if the condition is false. Okay, so let us take a look at it. Okay, so here we can have our count again. Then let us set it to 6. Okay, so down here let us use the do while loop. Okay, so the do while, or VS Code we don't have, so the do while like that. Okay, this is the structure. Okay, they do. So we first run this piece of code inside these curly brackets. Okay, after running this piece of code, then we check the condition. Okay, then we check the condition. Okay, if it is false, then we are not going to run this one again. Okay, if it is true, we are going to run it again. Okay, again we are going to run this this code again. Okay, so let us take a look at an example. So here we are going to first echo out. We are going to echo out the number. Okay, the number Then here we put the dollar sign, then we put our counter there, okay. And after doing that, we need to break, okay. So after doing that, let us go in our condition and we see what we can do. So here the variable we are going to use is the counter. Then here we are going to check if the counter is less than or equals to 10. If it is less than or equals to 10, we are going to run this code again, okay. So let us have something like this. So this one, it is I think it is going to run like 1. It is going to run when counter is 6, okay, and again it runs when the count is 7, 8, 9, and 10, okay, which means they are like 5 times, okay. They are like 5 times. Okay, so if we save our program and then we do this, we get something which is like this, okay. We get this one, okay. We get this one. So it is going to run an infinity number of loops because we have not incremented our count as we did in the while loop, okay. So we need to increment. So let us open a new tab. Then we exit this one. Then before we replace our URL, then let us first come here and we increment the counter. So we increment it like this, as you saw. We increment it like that, okay. So it is the same as if we do this, it is the same as like this. So dollar counter, then we can add the number, the multiple incrementation, okay, the number we want to add to the previous count, okay, to our previous variable. So here we want to add 1, you can add 2, so it just adds on 2, okay, in every iteration. So here we want to add a 1, okay, like that, okay. But I'm not going to use that way. I think you have understood, okay. I'm going to use that simple way, okay, simple logic way. So let us save, and if we save, let us come here and then we paste our URL and then we do this. So as you can see, as I told you, it has run 5 times, okay, 5 times. So it first runs this first time when the count is 6, and then it increments, okay, and then it checks the condition. If it is true, then it goes back, okay, until this condition is false, okay. If it is false, then it is not going to go back. And if this condition is false, if this one is false, it is going to run this one twice. So it is going to first run this code. It is going Control Z. It is going to first run this code, and if then it goes and checks this condition. And if this condition is false, it is not going to run this code the second time. Okay. So for example, if we set the counter to be 12, okay, which we set this condition to be false, and if we save and or refresh our page, we are only going to see only one output, okay, which is this code, which is this hello message, echo message, okay, this one, echo message, okay. So I think you have understood the do while loops, okay. I think you have understood the do while loops, okay. So here, even though the counter starts at counting at 6, the code inside runs once before checking the condition, okay. So let us look at another simple type of loop, which is the for loop. Okay, so the for loop is often the most convenient because it puts all the loop information, okay, the counter, the condition, and then the increment in one line. Okay, so let us take a look at it. So to use it, we use it like this. So we use the for, okay, is the for like this. So here, for here inside here we can have these ones. So here at first we need to have the initial value, okay, of our variable that we are going to work with, okay. So the initial value here is 0, okay. After there we break that piece, okay. We just put this semicolon, okay. Then we put another, okay, another. We set our condition, okay. This is the condition, okay. We put the condition that I is less than, what is it less than? So let us put that it is less than 4, okay. Let us put that it is less than 4, like that, then we break like that, then we increment our variable I. Okay, we increment. Okay, so this one is going to run every time. So this code is going to run as long as I is less than 4. Okay, it's going to run. So it is going to increment. Okay, so it is going to first run this code when I equals to 0, and then it is going to increment. Okay, but it is going to check the condition. Okay, so if 0 is less than 4, this code is going to run. Okay, then on the next time it is going to increment. So here it is going to increment 0 from 0 to 1. Okay, so I will be equals to 1, then it is going to check this condition if 1 is less than 4. Then if it is true, then this code is going to run. Okay, and that cycle is going to repeat. It is going to repeat until I is equals to 4. Okay, until this condition is not true. So if we reach at 4, it means that 4 is not less than 4. Okay, which means that this condition is now false. So the code inside here, inside this parenthesis, is not going to run. Okay, it is not going to run. Okay, so let us look at an example. So let us echo out let us echo out the number. So our number, but here we can put the I. Then from there, let us now break. Okay, so we break like that. Okay, so even if here we don't need to add an incrementing, so here we don't need to increment I because we have already incremented here. Okay, so let us save, and then let us refresh. If we refresh, we get the first output when I equals to 0 until when I equals to 3. Okay, then it will break out of the loop. Okay, so that is it. That is the how we can use the for loop. Let us take a look at how we can break out of the loop. So another way of breaking out of the loop, even if the condition is not met, we can use the break statement. Okay, so sometimes you might want to stop a loop early. Okay, and for that we use the break statement. Okay, so to use it, here we can have our for loop there. Okay, so here let us give it like 4 less than 10, like that. Then here we can increment. But remember here, if we want this code to break out of the loop when I is equals to 5. Okay, what if we want to break out of the loop when it is equals to 5? So here we need to use the conditions, the control structures. Okay, which is the if statements, or we can use the switch. Okay, but here let us use the if. Okay, so if, let us use if. Then inside here is where we are going to put our condition. Okay, so the condition we want to set if I is equals to 5. If I is equals to 5, so here we need to use equals to 5. Then what are we going to do? We are going to break out of the loop. We are going to break. Okay, so otherwise we are going to, if it is not equals to 5, we are going to run this code. Okay, every time if I is not equals to 5. So we're going to get our number. Okay, so we are going to get I, then we are going to break out. We're going to break out like that. Okay, so here we need to put, okay, those ones there, that one there. Then after we save. Okay, so if we run our program, we get up to 4. Okay, so it is going to check. So if I is equals to 4, it is going to break out immediately before printing out this message when I equals to 5. Okay, it is going to break out immediately. But what if we first write this one above? Okay, we write this one above that this if statement. Okay, so it is going to run this one. So if I equals to 5, it is going to run this one. Okay, and after running this one, it is going to go down. Remember, we execute code from top to bottom. Okay, so it is going to go down and it finds this condition. This condition. If this condition, this one this condition is true, we are going to run the code inside. Okay, so the code inside, we only have the break statement, and this one is going to help us break out of the loop. Okay, so it means, so here we didn't have 4 because this one was at the bottom. Okay, was below the code, this if statement. So if we save and we run our program, we are going to get 5 out. Okay, but we are going to end on 5. Okay, so that is it. That's how we can use the four that's how we can break out of the loop. Okay, so let us look at another one, which is skipping an iteration. Okay, so let us take a look at how we can skip an iteration. Okay, so to skip an iteration, we use the continue. Okay, we use the continue statement. Okay, and this one is going help us in skipping the iteration we want to skip. Okay, so for example, here we can have the for loop, the for loop there, and here let us give it let's give it that it is less than or equals to 5 like that. Then we increment, then below this one, below okay, then inside these parentheses we are going to have our if statement, so we need to check. So if, then here we need to have the condition. Okay, so our condition is going to be if I is equals to 3. So if what if we want to skip, like when we what if we don't want to see number 3 or number 4? Okay, we don't want to output anything. Okay, so what we need to do is using or we can use set a condition. Okay, to say we can set a condition that detects if I equals to 3, and if it is equals to 3, then we are going to execute a piece of code, and that piece of code is going to contain our continuous statement, and that continuous statement is going to help us skip that iteration. Okay, skip that iteration and go to the next iteration before executing, without executing the underlying piece of code. Okay, so for example here, so what if I equals to 3, if I equals to 3, then what are we going to do? We are going to use the this statement, which is the continue. Okay, so which is going to help us skip the iteration when I equals to 3. So the code below this one, which is the echo, then here we can give out the number, then here we can write our I there, then from after there we need to break. Okay, like that. Okay, so it is this code, if this condition is true, this code is not going to run. Okay, it is not going to run, but another iteration is going to run. Okay, it is not like the break statement that if this condition is true, we are going to break out. Okay, and all the code all the other iterations are not going to run. No, it is not like that. Okay, so for the continuous statement, if this condition is true, we are going to skip this code, this iteration, the code below this if statement. Okay, but the next iteration is going to run. Okay, it is going to run. So if we save our program and then we refresh our page, we refresh it like this. Okay, so as you can see here, we don't have number 3. Okay, so we get 0, 1, 2, but 3 we don't have it. Okay, so we have skipped that iteration. Okay, so we end here. So if we had this one, if we add another echo, okay, number here, number, and then here we have the I, then we break out. This code is going to run because it is going to run because we have not reached at this if statement. Okay, we have not reached at this if statement. Okay, remember we execute code. Okay, code is executed from top to bottom. Okay, so we are going to go after checking this condition, this one. Okay, this piece of code is going to run, and when it runs, and when it starts to run, it is going to execute the first line of code. Okay, so here we don't have any boundaries, so this code is going to be executed. this line, okay, then it goes to the next line, okay, where it finds this if statement, and then if this condition is true, we are going to continue. So we are not going to run other pieces of code below this if statement, okay. So we are going to go on to the next iteration. So here, if we save, we are going to see that we are going to get our 3. If we do this, so here we forgot, I forgot these ones, I forget this semicolon, okay. So if we do this, we are going to get 0 0 1 1 2 2 3 4 4 4, okay. These ones, as you can see, these ones are running twice, okay. They are running twice, okay. So if this condition is not true, okay, if this condition is not true, this piece of code is going to run, but also this one is also going to run, okay, as you can see. So here we have 2 2 1 1 2 2, and then here we have only 3 because only this one has run, but this one has not run, okay. So that's why we have only 1 3, okay, but for the rest we have 2 2 2, okay. They appear twice, okay. So that's how we can use we can break out we can skip an iteration, okay. Okay, so we have looked at while loop, do while, for loop, okay, and how to use the break and continue to control them, okay. So thank you, don't forget to subscribe, and like the video, okay.